They're not fighting and dying because they're al-Qaeda. They're not fighting and dying and sacrificing their lives because they're Muslim extremists. They're fighting and dying because they want the same universal rights and freedom that we guaranteed in our Constitution.
I think if we don't get the international community together in a coalition of the willing soon, we're going to look back and say we not only didn't do the right thing morally to stop innocents from being killed, we missed an extraordinary strategic opportunity.
I want to make the point that the concerns that Senator McCain and you and others have expressed are exactly the concerns of the administration. We're not divided here, and we are not holding back. This administration has led in Iraq, we've led in Afghanistan, we've led in the war on terrorism, we led in Libya, and we're leading in Syria. We are working with those elements to try to bring them together. If the agreement here is that we ought not to just simply go in unilaterally, then we have to build a multilateral coalition. We've got to be able to work at that. It's not that easy to deal with some of the concerns that are out there.
Watch this week's hearings and news conferences whenever you want, online at the C-SPAN Video Library. Search events from today, from this year, and earlier, with over a quarter century of American politics and public affairs on your computer at cspan.org/video library. Washington Journal continues.
Our next guest you may recognize as the former director of the White House Office of Faith-Based and Community Initiatives from 2002 to 2006. He is also the current president of Ave Maria University. Jim Towey, our guest on Washington Journal. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be back with you.
Can we start with your university? Because it's currently has a suit going on dealing with the topic of contraception. What's that story?
Well, Ave Maria University is a beautiful small university in the Catholic tradition down in southwest Florida near Naples. And we have about 700 undergraduate students, 113 graduate students. So we're small. But we are proudly Catholic and follow the teachings of the church. And so when the federal mandate came out that said you have to provide contraceptive services, including abortion-inducing drugs and including sterilization, as part of your health plan, the university said, well, this violates our free exercise of religion and also violates federal law. And so we were hoping that the regulations that would come out from the administration would carve out exemptions, as they have for decades, for organizations like us. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. So we had to go to the courts.
And so tell us a little bit about the nature of your suit and who's representing you.
Well, we're very grateful to have the Becket Fund for Religious Liberty representing Ave Maria University. And they're an excellent First Amendment law firm, advocacy organization. I've known for a long time Seamus Hassan, its founder, just a great American, great man. And they have a great group of attorneys over there that have successfully argued cases in the U.S. Supreme Court, including very recently when they won a case against the administration on what defines the ministerial exception. So we were very confident when we were able to get the Becket Fund to represent us that they could pursue this legal matter in the courts. No small university wants to go to federal court against the mighty federal government. And we have a lot of work to do as we grow the university, but we felt we had no choice. So the Becket Fund's representing us, and we're seeking to have declaratory relief and also injunctive relief, which means declare that this application of the regulation is invalid and unlawful, and then be relieved from the requirement to provide these services under our health plan.
What happens for those employees if you lose your battle?
Well, we will not provide health insurance that provides abortion-inducing drugs and contraception. This isn't a debate about contraception. People can be in disagreement about it. Many Catholics are. The issue at hand is whether the federal government can force a faith-based organization like ours to provide a service against our beliefs and fine us if we don't. So we would discontinue our health insurance, and then we would be fined by the federal government. And so that's why we're litigating this, because to be fined to practice your faith, I also find contrary to the Constitution and the Religious Freedom Restoration Act that was passed. So we feel we're on very solid legal grounds, but we realize now it's in Congress, it's in the presidential campaign, and of course it's in the courts. And so we're hoping that over time the administration will revise this regulation in a way that respects our rights.
And what would that revision have to say in order to satisfy you?
It would have to say that this mandate of providing contraception free in every health plan does not apply to a faith-based organization that chooses to exercise its religious liberty rights and not provide it. The Catholic Church, many evangelical organizations, many individuals who are devout religious provide health plans today. If the federal government wants to provide free contraception, that's certainly the federal government's prerogative. If that's what Congress funds and a president wants to implement, why force a Catholic university like ours to be complicit in that and force us to compromise our religious beliefs to do it? That's our beef, and that's why we've had to go to court.
You're our guest with us until 9:15. The lines 202-737-0001 for Democrats, 202-737-0002 for Republicans, 202-628-0205 for Independents. And if you want to send us an email, that is journal@cspan.org. And you could also send us something off of Twitter at CSPANWJ. Does your health insurance provider allow you to provide contraception without a fee directly from you?
No, we have a health plan that is very generous. In fact, the university spends $1.7 million. So we're talking about a subsidy of over $10,000 per employee for our health plan. But we have a plan that does not provide for reimbursement for contraceptive services. And that's worked fine. And people that come to work at Ave Maria University are not expecting us to provide these things. They know we're a Catholic university. So what President Obama had come out with in his announcement in the press briefing room in February, what he termed an accommodation, was to say, look, you, Ave Maria University, don't have to provide it. Your insurer will provide it for free. We're going to require them to do that. But we're not dumb. Those drugs cost money today. They're going to cost money tomorrow. Someone's going to be footing the bill. And of course, the insurer is not into this work for charity. So of course, the employer is going to be paying that premium. That's a shell game. That's a ruse. To me, why not just, if the federal government wants to expand this, just do it directly. Why force us to be complicit in it? That's our complaint.
This is Vivian Shepherdson off of Twitter, who asked, are there any of the laws this college has to follow? Equal opportunity, employee safe workplace. Why wouldn't they have to follow all laws?
We do follow the laws of this country and are happy to do so. I mean, we're proudly American. What we're being asked to do here is violate our constitutional rights to follow the law. We feel it's an unjust mandate. We feel it's unlawful for the federal government to ask this of us. Yes, we follow equal employment laws. Of course, we follow all the regulations with the Department of Education as we participate in federal student aid programs and in grant programs. So we are very careful to stay in the good graces of the state of Florida and the U.S. federal government. But when we're asked to compromise our beliefs, our core beliefs, and no administration has ever asked a university like ours, like Ave Maria, to do this in the past, why now? So that's why we felt like today it's going to be contraceptive services. Tomorrow it's going to be abortion. That's legal in America. Why not force our health plan to provide that? You could make the same cost savings argument. Then they're going to come in and say, oh, when a woman's pregnant, she has to have a certain test, and if the baby has Down syndrome, then she has to have the baby aborted because it's too expensive to, or the health plan will not cover that birth. You walk down a slippery slope of the federal government intruding into these decisions. I think it's dangerous, but it's particularly dangerous when you're asking religious organizations to abandon their conscience. What you in effect are asserting is the government as church, because they're dictating what religious beliefs in America can be.
To calls for you. The first one comes from Bendorf, Iowa. On our Democrats line, it's Tim for Jim Towey. Good morning.
Good morning. Mr. Towey, first of all, with all due respect, the freedom of religion is an individualistic idea. You have the right to practice your religion the same as everyone else. The line that is drawn is when you try to force your beliefs on other people. When you become involved in the economic system, you are a part of the whole society. You have to represent the whole society, and you have to live by the laws of that society. You cannot force your ideas on everyone else. If you want to do that, you got the Catholic Church needs to stay out of the economic system altogether.